Hello, everyone, and welcome to this session of the Thriving Families Africa Summit. At the Thriving Families Africa Summit, we're having real conversations around mental health, around parenting, and just candid conversations about what's going on in this space of family, not only in Africa, but in the diaspora. And today we are answering these questions. Why do we repeat the same patterns in relationships? So, we just find ourselves asking that question. And maybe sometimes it's just who I am. It's bad luck and all that. And today I'm joined by Tata Nyawira, who is a counseling psychologist, who is so passionate about the topic around attachment, trauma, and relationships. And I'm really looking forward to having this conversation. Welcome. I was going to say Daisy, but, welcome, Tata Nyawira.
Thank you so much, Dr. Caro. And Daisy is still my name.
Yeah.
But for the purposes of these conversations,
Hmm.
I prefer to go with Tata Nyawira. So
Yes.
thank you so much for having me.
Yes, and it gives us the anti-vibe,
Yes.
which is very acceptable in our African setting, and so very relatable in this
Mm.
conversation because these are
Thank
real conversations
you.
rounded around Africa. So welcome.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you so much. I keep saying at some point, professionally and personally, I started exuding anti-vibes.
You did.
Hence, hence the name Tata, because Tata is what we call auntie
Yeah,
in the tribe I come from.
yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just like, and it's easy. At times I find that it's easier to talk to Tata than it is because the conversations that we have at times are difficult.
Yeah.
They need one's guard to go down,
Mm.
and you almost feel like you want to be seen and heard. And Tata then almost embodies that kind of approach.
I love it. I love it.
Mm,
Tata vibes. It just diffuses the formality and the tension around, especially conversations around mental health.
yes.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So let's just dig right in and just start with you. Because you're in this space, you do a lot of TikToks, a lot of videos, a lot of conversations and content around attachment, around relationships. And I'm just curious, you tell us what drew you into this space?
That's interesting. Um, I think first of all, I think it's my own story, my own journey.
Mm,
Uh, I first of all, I am one person who loves love.
okay.
You know how, as you grow up, it's like the movies kind of have a way of teaching us about what love is, how it should look like, and it looks flawless.
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially the
So
Hallmark movies.
yeah, it looks so good. So I think I grew up fantasizing, and I don't think I'm the only one. I think I grew up fantasizing about what love is, what it looks like, and especially maybe romantic love. However, what was working against me is because my mom was a single mom,
Mhm,
then I didn't see it modeled. I didn't see maybe a mom and dad relationship modeled. So
mhm,
I lived in my head, fantasizing and thinking about, oh, this is how it's supposed to look like, or this is how it will look like, or maybe when I grow up, I'll have it this way. And the problem with that is that then you keep having different thoughts that you pick from books. I think we read a lot of maybe romantic novels in high school, and that's how I grew up.
mhm,
But coming into adulthood, I keep saying I came into adulthood not necessarily having seen anything modeled for me, but having fantasies about what love and relationships looks like. And so when I was thinking about even my own relationship and what it needed to look like,
mhm,
I think I was just thinking about just the flawlessness of how beautiful a relationship should look like.
mhm.
And so I got married, and I remember wanting the marriage to work
Yeah.
because I hadn't seen a marriage work around me.
Yeah.
I wanted it to work. And so I dug deep into understanding how relationships work. I remember from I think when we were 6 months old into marriage, we were already facilitating. And when I say we, it's my ex-husband now and I, we were already facilitating
Mm.
like premarital counseling classes. We were sitting under people and just trying to learn the best way we could
Yeah.
about what relationships and marriages were about.
Yeah.
The other thing that we did, because I wear two hats,
Mm.
is that I am also a producer.
Mm-hmm.
and I did a lot of theatrical performances. And guess what? You'll not believe we were writing stories about relationships and
Mm-hmm.
just trying to help people understand. I think we realized that our relationship was not as flawless as we see it out here. And a lot of people don't really talk about the struggles that they go through.
Mm-hmm.
And so we started writing stories, our own stories, and people could relate to them.
Mm-hmm.
But now in that journey, I realized that when we were doing premarital, we were focusing mostly on, when we talked about individuals, we were focusing about personality,
Yeah.
the differences in personality. And that was just even the four personalities. We didn't even go into the 16 one. We
Mm.
just went, you're either a sanguine, a melancholic, a
Flag.
choleric, a phleg. And in that context, everyone used to say, I'm a sanguine, I'm a choleric,
Yeah.
But what happened is, as the challenges started happening in the marriage,
Mm.
I realized I didn't really think that they were coming. At some point, it looked like they were emanating from the different personalities,
Okay.
but there seemed to be question marks. It almost felt like there's something else going on.
Mm.
And so when I did psychology,
Mm.
now as a counselor, and then going deeper, it almost feels like there's what we are taught in school, but now you start doing your own research, you do your own reading.
Yeah.
I landed on attachment theory,
Mm.
and somehow, for the very first time, I was just like, this is actually what's going on.
Wow.
This, we have different attachment styles. I
Mm-hmm.
think we had boxed ourselves in the personality, which
Mm-hmm.
was great.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to relationships,
Yep.
I realized attachment then plays a bigger role than even personality.
Mm.
And so that became I think my life's purpose became about educating myself. But as I learned,
Mm.
then I educate others.
Mm.
That's why then you find me talking a lot about attachment,
Mm.
because once it helped me understand a lot of the challenges we go through in relationships
Mm.
have a lot of basis in how we attach.
Now we touch.
Yeah, so that is a very roundabout way of just explaining how I got to this.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people will resonate with that story. How many people have gone through premarital, classes? You actually took yourself out there even before marriage and actually started reading about it and all that. But, we still end up in such serious struggles that even the relationships have to end. So
Mm-hmm,
it's like premarital counseling is awesome, is amazing. It opens the door, but clearly there's a deeper story.
mm-hmm,
There's something deeper and that may not even be touched on within the 12 weeks. You just, you know,
it's
sort of
almost like we skim through it.
yes, we came through it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so for you then, because this term attachment can be very technical. And
Mhm,
again, like many conversations around mental health, sometimes we overuse these statements, we misuse them, we use them as now a cop out. This is how I attach, or I'm
mhm,
a flag, even personality
mhm, mhm,
theories, our personality traits or our
mhm,
personality, it's either I'm a flag, I'm a melancholic, I'm this,
mhm,
am I an extrovert, I'm an introvert, this,
mhm.
that. But help us because we just want to narrow down to attachment. In very simple terms, what is attachment?
I like to think of attachment as the blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
It's the blueprint of how we learn to relate with others. In simple terms,
I love that.
it's just the blueprint on how we learn to relate with others.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
And most times we learn to relate with others
Mm,
from childhood.
mm-hmm.
It's for me, it was the aha that we think we know how to relate with others as grown-ups,
Mm,
but and that's why I call it a blueprint.
mm,
Then the way we do it, the bases, the filters in which we use, they've all been laid. The ground has been laid,
mm,
but it has been laid when we are such young children. So from how you learned how to, as an infant, relating to your first caregiver, you learned how to trust,
mm,
you learned how to depend, you
mm,
learned how to either be independent
mm,
or completely not trust people, which is what shows up later in life as
mm.
we relate to other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so just dig a little bit deeper, then take us down that road. What happens in our childhood? How are those templates or blueprints built and put together? And clearly, it's the reason why we repeat patterns in relationships, because that's what we are here to talk about. So just take us
Yes.
through that journey.
I what attachment theory has given us is language.
Mm.
And it's interesting that most of us now, as you're talking about it, there's what has come into pop psychology,
Yeah.
and there's the democratization of some of these terms.
Mhm.
And you hear a lot of people say, I'm an avoidant, or I am anxious.
Yes, attachment. Yeah.
I'm anxiously attached.
Yeah.
That's just language to explain behavior.
All right.
It doesn't necessarily mean that's who you are. It just explains that this is how you learned or you have learned to relate
Mm.
to other people.
Mm.
That's one. The next thing that I like to talk about is that because the brain learns, it can unlearn.
Mm.
So attachment is not cast on stone.
Mm.
You can grow from what we call an insecure attachment,
Mm.
and you can become secure.
Mhm.
Just because you learned to relate a certain way doesn't mean you should stay that way. So
Mhm.
I'm normally, I will most probably poke onto people, when they say, but this is just who I am. I'm like, not necessarily.
Mm.
The brain has the ability to learn and unlearn. And that's why we are here. I'm
Mm.
so glad that we are able to have this conversation,
Mm.
because then we can learn
Mm.
and we can strive to try
Mm.
and figure out how to do better.
Mhm.
So attachment theory, which
Mm.
is how psychology has a way of packaging behavior into theories.
Mm.
And the theory explains how we relate into four ways,
Mhm.
which is one is what we all know, which is secure attachment.
Mm.
And then we have the other three, which fall under insecure attachment.
Mhm.
And in the insecure attachment, we have avoidance, we have anxious, and we have disorganized attachment styles. All these are styles.
Mm.
It's how you relate to other people.
Mm.
When you're secure, if you were to look at it from just surface,
Mhm.
we're looking at it at the surface level, then
Mm.
we see that when you're secure, then the how it shows up is you are able to be independent,
Mm.
but you are also able to depend on other people.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You have a it's almost like you have a healthy balance
Mhm.
of being able to be okay by yourself,
Mm.
but you also know when you need other people, and you can actually even seek other people out
Mhm.
and depend on them.
Depend on
For
them.
the other three, then they show up differently. So we have one anxious person, and I will try and help us understand how it shows up, because
Mm.
this thing starts even when we are children.
Yeah.
So you have an anxious person who is very codependent, meaning their happiness, their joy is dependent on other people. So you find that these are the people who will text you
Mm.
and then ask you, why aren't you responding to me? And I can see that you are online.
Yeah. Or you
What
Bluetooth
is
me.
Why are you ticking me? Why are you ticking me? Why I can see you are online? I sent you a message at 9:29. It's 9:34 now. Why aren't you responding to me?
Yeah.
And you can tell it's just that the anxiety shows up, and they're not able to rest or settle until this thing is resolved. Whatever it is, whether the person responds to them or the person reassures them. For them, the thing about them is that they always feel as though they're being abandoned.
Mm.
So any behavior that shows that kind of disconnect
Mm.
then tells them they're about to be abandoned and they want to run away.
Yeah.
So they seek reassurance. That's why they're asking, why aren't you talking to me? Are we okay? Did I do anything wrong? It's just
Mm.
the anxiety. And
Mm.
that's why I'm calling it's very codependent, because then they're not able to be okay by themselves. They have to ask you, are we okay? Are you
Mm.
sure we are okay? Right? And
Mm.
then now we have the other insecure attachment, which is an avoidant, who is actually the complete opposite of an anxious attacher.
Mm.
So an avoidant has learned to be independent.
Mhm.
And that independence shows up in how they work. If when they're relating with you, you will hear them saying, I actually don't need people.
Mm.
That is their biggest, it's like their biggest flex.
Mhm.
They do not want to look like they can depend on anyone.
mm,
They choose to trust in themselves. They don't like to trust in people. That is very risky.
mm,
That kind of behavior is very risky. If I have to trust in you, then that's too much,
mm,
because then I'm uh, I might fail in one way or another.
mm,
So for them, they are very independent, very independent. They are loners. They walk by themselves. They trust themselves. And so we see it even in the workplace. These are people who are able to accomplish tasks very well
mm,
because they don't depend on people. They don't try to look for consensus.
mm,
And in a relationship,
mm,
then they 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 really will sit by themselves
mm.
and do things by themselves, and they can make you feel unwanted.
Yeah.
But it's just because that's how they learn to cope.
Mm.
That's normally, I keep saying, it's a coping mechanism.
It is. It is.
And
So
then
just before you go to the next one, so you talked about the anxious one being from a place of feelings of abandonment. So
Mhm,
that was something that happened in their childhood, likely happened
mhm,
in their childhood. And
mhm.
how about for the avoidant?
The avoidance, it's not they were not I would like to say, because it's not necessarily for them, it's not abandonment.
Hmm.
What happened is they learned early to depend on themselves.
Okay.
And I like to give the example of, you know how babies cry,
Mm.
and there was a craze of let them cry it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Leave them in the crib, let
Mm.
them cry it out. But to be honest, children have to be cuddled, they need to be held. That's how they learn and understand how to relate.
Mm.
So when you let them cry it out and you do it consistently, because it's not a behavior that happens once, when
Mm.
you do it consistently, what this child learns to do
Mm.
is that they can't trust you,
Mm.
because their way of communicating is through crying.
Yeah.
And if they're crying and you're letting them cry it out,
Mm. Mm.
I remember we used to be told, allow them to be disciplined. Life is already hard.
Mm.
Don't don't place them on your hands. You are teaching them bad manners.
Mm.
What that child learns to do is to depend on themselves.
Mm.
And you know what I'm talking about? It's a baby in the crib.
Mm.
A baby in the crib learns to hold on to their milk and to solve their own problems.
Yeah.
Later on in life, they continue just realizing that people can't be trusted. And we see it even in infants, we see it in toddlers. When they have been left on their own for a long time, then they learn to, and I feel like this is how the brain works. The brain doesn't like pain.
Mm. Mm.
Of course, it's very painful to keep having to be left
Mm.
and keep depending, and then you're left. So
Mm.
you choose not to depend. You
Mm.
choose not to let people in.
Yeah.
And this could have happened in childhood, and that's why I brought in the crib. I
Mm.
brought in being a toddler, but it could have happened in a relationship.
Yeah.
So life's experiences,
Mm.
what in Kenya we call character development. When you have trusted someone, you have depended on them, and then they keep showing you they don't want to be depended upon, then you learn
Mhm.
to protect yourself. And
Right.
that's why I keep saying it's a protective mechanism.
Right.
It's your way of learning to cope. You just withdraw.
Yeah.
You consistently withdraw, and you make conclusions that people cannot be trusted upon.
Yeah.
An anxious person, for them, the feeling of abandonment comes because they see it comes from inconsistency.
Mm-hmm.
So where there's at times I like to give the example of two parents who one maybe travels
Mm-hmm.
a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing they're doing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But for a child, the fact that you keep coming and going, keeping coming and going, the child has not developed the understanding that you're not going because of them,
Yeah. Yeah.
or you're going because of work. But do you know something else, Dr. Caro, I realized?
Mm.
We want our children to understand that.
Mm.
Yet, even we ourselves, if your spouse keeps coming and going, it's very, very hurtful.
It is.
The brain understands,
Mm.
but the heart doesn't understand. Yet we are grown-ups.
Yes, and our decision making part of the brain and logical thinking is fully developed. So how
It's
much?
fully developed.
Yeah.
You can imagine how we feel
Yeah.
when even when it's your best friend,
Right.
that they have to travel for 2 weeks or for a month.
Mm.
That kind of longing
Mm.
it makes you want to shield yourself, or makes you now want to consistently want to be reassured that we are okay.
Yeah.
And that's what happens to a child. And
Mm.
the child keeps wondering, maybe if I behave properly,
Mm.
my dad or my mom will stay.
Yeah.
Or if maybe I quieten my needs,
Mm.
then they are going to stay.
Yeah.
Or if so, the child learns to scan the room
Mm.
to figure out, are we okay, are we okay? Or if the parent again is also very anxious,
Mm.
so it's inconsistency, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So today they are hot, tomorrow they're cold, they love you, then tomorrow they've left without a hug. You're never sure where you stand. So
Mm.
as a child, you learn to scan the room, and you're just like, okay, are we okay, are we okay? So today, if I don't, maybe if I keep quiet, or if I become number one in school,
Mm.
then I'm going to receive,
Accept.
um, I'm going to be accepted, I'm going to belong.
Mm.
So then the child learns then to learn to scan the room, to scan the room. Are we okay? Are we not okay? Maybe if I tone myself down, then we will be okay. It's that lack of
Yeah.
consistency
Yeah.
that makes them think that peace in the relationship is dependent on them behaving a certain way.
Okay. So we have the avoidant, we have
And
the
then we have the
anxious,
anxious.
and
And then the third one is what we call a disorganized attachment.
mm.
The disorganized attachment style is just almost a combination of avoidant and anxious,
Mm.
because then it's like you see so.
Mm-hmm.
One moment you're avoidant, the next moment you are anxious.
Mm.
Psychology has taught us that this is the hardest to deal with,
Mm-hmm.
mainly because this style comes from a place of trauma.
Okay.
And the trauma then shows up from your source of safety
Mm-hmm.
becoming a source of fear. So it could have been your caregiver, your parents being, so they're no longer just inconsistent, like in the place of the anxious, but here they actually make you fear them. Either you have seen them behaving in a way that makes you fear,
Mm.
or they have also either punished you, abused you. So we see children who were abused, and this abuse is physical, it's sexual. Then the place of fear then checks in. So you can't really trust, because this person who's supposed to be a source of safety has also now become a real source. It's almost terror.
Yeah.
And if you think about children growing up in homes where there was an alcoholic parent,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of inconsistency where the parent maybe doesn't beat them but beats their parent, the other parent, or their mom senseless,
Mm-hmm.
that is very scary to
Yeah.
a child.
Yeah.
It's almost like when they're sober, they are one thing,
Mm-hmm.
then they come drunk, and you find terror.
Mm-hmm.
Such people grow up with such terror,
Mm-hmm.
because then they have learned that their source of safety can also become a real source of fear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you can even see that it didn't happen to them, but they saw their mom being beaten,
Mm-hmm.
and being beaten, black and blue,
Mm-hmm.
almost being killed.
Mm-hmm.
So they grow up knowing it's hard to trust. So they want the connection, but they also really fear it.
Yeah.
So this kind of person, when you relate with them, even in adulthood, they're the kind of people, I keep saying, who it's hot and cold. They swing. Today, the relationship, the connection is so good. Tomorrow, they ghost you,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't know why they ghosted you. It's just that it became too hot, too warm. They don't know what to do with that. They are already now, the nervous system is already telling them, I'm about to get hurt, I'm about to get really hurt. So they have to again protect themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I mean, the example you've given, it's a sad reality, but a lot of children grow up watching their parents fight and get physically violent and verbally abusive and emotionally abusive, and they say, this will never happen in my home. I will never do this. I know the right way to do it. And then, which brings us to this topic now. Why then do we repeat those patterns? Yet we know we have seen.
Mm. Oh wow. I normally empathize
Mm,
with us as adults, because we think we know, but
mm,
what you don't realize is the impact
mm,
of what happened to us. There's
mm,
a good book by Dr. Bruce Perry and Oprah
Mm-hmm.
that talks about what happened to you.
Yeah.
And what we don't realize
Mm-hmm.
is that while we think we know, which is uh, our logical part of the brain,
Mm-hmm.
says, I will never be like my dad.
Mm-hmm.
What we don't realize is that what we saw is the only thing we know.
That's what's familiar.
That's what's familiar.
Mm-hmm.
So we end up repeating what is familiar. And what is familiar actually feels very comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So I will give the example of in terms of violence, and both for men and women. So
Mm-hmm.
if you saw your dad if you beating your mom,
Mm-hmm.
chances are that you also did not learn how to resolve conflict.
Mm-hmm.
And what you saw is that conflict is resolved with violence.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like that's the template
Mm-hmm.
that is in your head.
Mm-hmm.
So when someone infuriates you,
Mm-hmm.
you think you should do it differently, but you don't know how.
Mm-hmm.
And for most of my clients, at times I say, you're actually an infant in this area.
Oh my goodness. My goodness.
Yeah, you do not know.
Mm-hmm.
You have no idea how to talk
Mm-hmm.
and resolve conflict without fearing that this person might, might not abandon you, whatever it is that you're fearing.
Mm-hmm.
So most times you get infuriated, and what do? You repeat exactly what you saw.
Mm-hmm.
If you are the lady and it is your mom who was being beaten,
Mm-hmm.
you say, I'm going to choose different. I want someone who is the opposite of my dad.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
However, do you know you don't even realize what peace looks like in a relationship? And we've seen it, unfortunately, that your nervous system is so accustomed to chaos.
Mm-hmm.
That chaos of your dad showing up at 3 a.m. and everyone being on high alert, and maybe you are the firstborn making sure your siblings are fine.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? Your nervous system knows that as normal.
Normal.
It's very familiar.
Yeah.
So you will get into a relationship, and even things that should make you a bit uncomfortable, like maybe someone raising their voice or being mean
Mm-hmm.
or being emotionally unavailable for you, you're just like, not necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
This one, we just need to figure it out a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And before you know it, then there's violence. But violence does not even stress you because you saw it.
Mm-hmm.
So you keep thinking, maybe if I should just tone it down or tone myself down, then this person is going to change.
Mm-hmm.
But violence comes, it's almost like the last stage. You've been taking in abuse in different forms
Yes.
before violence checked in.
Yeah.
But the reason why you didn't pick it,
Mm-hmm.
it's because it's very familiar to you. And the worst part, Dr. Carol, is that I see people who are so accustomed to chaos
Mm-hmm.
that when they meet a gentleman,
Yeah.
one who is just kind,
Yeah.
one who keeps their word, who says they are going to call and they call.
Yeah.
People then show up at my therapy room to tell me now this one is boring, or there's something wrong, or what do they mean this person is not raising their voice? The fact that it's too peaceful, then that means there's something wrong.
Yeah. Because that's not
There's
familiar
something,
for them.
it is not family, it is, and again, they're infants where peaceful relationships are concerned.
That's really big. That's a big ton of bricks right there, you know? I am an
Yeah,
infant when it comes to relationships or how to do
yeah,
or that specific space. And I
that specific space.
mm,
Your muscles have not been exercised.
yeah,
You actually don't know how to.
yeah.
And so, if you've come from a family where there was a lot of chaos,
Mm,
where you've also experienced, and that's why I was saying life experiences, where maybe your first boyfriend was also very chaotic, or your first relationship was also very chaotic. This is normal for you. So when you meet someone who does not subscribe to this, you actually think they are the problem.
no problem, yeah.
Yeah, it's normally so sad. I see it all the time. And we have to do a lot of work to just help the brain understand that just because it's new, it doesn't necessarily mean it's bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And what I know, and you've even alluded to it with your own story, is sometimes the only way you know that's how you show up is when you are in a relationship. And
Right.
when when the stakes are high, that's when you
Mhm.
learn. So
Yeah.
sometimes are like, do we relationships have to end for us to learn these things? We find ourselves.
It's
You
very
and me find ourselves
unfortunate.
in those spaces where a lot of people who are coming to us are probably going through a divorce or a
Mhm.
separation or a breakup, and that
Mm.
is when now they're like, oh, this is how I show up. I just find that I don't know if is there a class that can just help us work through our nervous system.
Well, before
Oh, able tell us.
I wish, and I have tried. I have run a couple of master classes, and that's the idea for me,
Yeah.
to help us understand ourselves.
Mm.
I really love to help people be self-aware.
Yeah.
Because, and that's why I teach on attachment, that's why I teach up on trauma,
Mm.
and especially childhood trauma.
Mm.
Because once you're aware,
Mm.
because I keep saying, if you're an anxious person and you're aware,
Mm.
then if you're in a relationship with an avoidant,
Mm.
then you know they're going to poke your insecurities.
Mm.
So steer clear. Don't try and make that one work,
Mhm.
because this person is just going to, the moment they start becoming independent, all your anxiety will rise up
Yeah.
there to the fore.
Yeah.
And then just teaching us, if you're an anxious person, just to also learn to self-regulate and not take everything personally.
Mm.
However, do know that you need to be in a relationship for you to also understand how you are showing up.
It is
I
true.
keep saying TikTok videos are great,
Mm.
and you even learn what to say and how to say it, and even be self-aware. But you need to be in a space where you're being triggered to know that, oh, so this is what is being triggered for me. They are triggering an anxiety, and even checking in with yourself and saying, I wonder what is coming up for me.
Mm.
And
Mm.
at times, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be in a romantic relationship.
Mhm.
Watch yourself with your friends.
Mm.
Watch yourself around even
Your
your family,
colleagues.
yes, and your
Uh,
colleagues.
mm.
Yeah, and just wonder, okay, what's coming up for me, so
Mhm.
that then you're able to exercise some of these muscles. You know what I'm calling the infant muscles,
Mhm.
because they will only grow when we exercise them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that then. We often talk about regulating our nervous system, and those words now, I mean, more and more pop psychology is in
Of
there.
psychology,
Yeah,
yeah.
nervous system. Now we are really taking care of our nervous system, you know?
Well, I wish we did. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, from where I sit,
Yeah.
we have a lot of information.
Yeah,
But
true.
I'm not sure we know
What,
what to do with it.
yes, the how.
Yeah,
How.
the how.
So tell us, again, you said at the start, we learned this, we can unlearn. So how does healing look like? How does regulation of the nervous system look like? Just very practical ways. What are some of those things we can do?
One, I think I started by saying you cannot heal that which you don't know.
Yeah,
So figure it out. The reasons why I teach and I am very generous with information
you are.
is so that then you can be aware, at least have a name for it. You
Mhm.
know, at times when you know you're angry, then you know what to do with anger.
Yeah.
But when you don't know, then you cannot heal it.
Mm.
If you fall under, especially the three insecure attachments, I'll talk about that because that's what we discussed today.
Yeah.
If you're anxious, and this is very general,
Mm.
an anxious person is consistently fearing rejection,
Yeah.
consistently fearing abandonment. If you're anxious, I want you to slow down, like almost take time to breathe. If someone has not responded to your text, think about the myriad reasons why they would not respond to your text. It's not because you have done something wrong. Their phone could be off. Yes, they might have seen it online and they are online, but they might be responding to someone else. I keep telling my anxious people, it really is not about you. It's like, get yourself out of the picture and think about all the other different reasons why,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm.
And then learn to calm yourself down.
Mm.
Just learn to tell yourself, it's not about me, and this person has not shown me reasons to leave me,
Mm.
because you're fearing being rejected and abandoned. It's almost like come and allow your brain to think.
Mm.
Do not trust everything that you think.
Yeah.
If you're an avoidant, my avoidant people, it's nice to be independent. But always remember, a big reason why you are independent is because you fear, or you grew up in a family where you were told sharing, or even depending on somebody emotionally, is a sign of weakness.
Yes. Yeah.
But imagine what you can try and realize that people can also be there for you,
Mm.
and you can also lean on other people,
Mm.
and you will enjoy robust, thriving relationships if you open yourself up.
Mhm.
I keep saying, because you've learned to protect yourself. So you've put a wall,
Mm.
a guardrail around yourself
Mm.
so that no one hurts you. But that same wall then protects you even from receiving the good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I use the pinky finger for the avoidant.
Mhm.
And I say, try and share something insignificant,
Mhm.
something small with someone you trust, and then see how that feels.
Okay.
Then you realize that not everyone is out to hurt you, and maybe someone can actually help you.
Mm.
And then you understand that you can enjoy a robust relationship.
Mhm.
For a disorganized person, because I've talked about that being trauma
Mm.
related,
Mm.
it would be best that you seek help.
Yeah.
It would be best that you seek help from a professional. That one becomes a little bit difficult to deal with because of the underlying issues.
Mm.
That's the underlying causes of why then you have a lot of fear.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we all desire to be secure,
Mhm.
which is just the balance, the good balance of wanting to be independent, but also learning to depend on other people. So that those are some of the ways you can heal. And for the nervous system,
Mm.
it can always heal. It
Mhm.
can always heal. And one of the ways is also being with people who
Mm.
are not consistently triggering you.
Yeah.
If you are in consistent relationships, and relationships for me, this is broad,
Mm.
not just in a romantic sense.
Mm.
If you have a friend who is consistent, that actually heals you.
Mhm.
It heals your nervous system. It heals you because then it reminds you, or it gives you new information
Mm.
that not everyone is out to harm you. Not everyone is here to maybe that you can't trust them,
Mm.
because then they're giving you new information that you can trust them. They can be reliable.
Mm.
So that also helps. So
Mm.
not necessarily watching videos, but also being with other people who are also secure.
Mm.
Yeah. And this is in a general sense.
I
It
know.
becomes very, very difficult to heal in maybe 45, 50 minutes conversations.
Sessions. Yeah.
But this is the beginning. It really is the beginning.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's work to do. It's there's self-awareness that we need to open ourselves to. These things are not random. They are patterns.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
there's a link. And I think also before, even because we're talking about trauma, it's important also to speak into that space where people say, why do we always blame our past? I mean, I'm here. Why don't I just snap out of it and move on? Can we just speak a little into that space?
Into that. Oh, I wish we could snap out of it.
Mm.
Oh, I really wish we could.
Yeah.
However, and even that kind of thinking comes from a place of shame,
Yes.
because then we're feeling like, I'm a grown up now. Why can't I?
Mm.
Why can't I just move on and
Mm.
do be a grown up about it?
Mm.
But what I try to show people is, what happened to you happened.
Mm.
That's why that book I talked about says we don't look at what is going on right now, but we ask what happened to you.
Mm.
Because when we go back, and I speak not from a place of wanting to demonize parents.
Mm-hmm.
That's not normally what we are trying to do.
Yeah. I think it's
It's
very
almost,
important for you to emphasize that because it's
and
something
especially
to accept.
Africa, the African adult child,
Mm.
because how we have been socialized as Africans,
Mm.
our parents can do no wrong.
Mm. Mm.
But what we are saying, it's not that they were malicious.
Mm.
And one of the things I try to even help my clients do is to even look back and see their parents as human beings
Mm.
who had their own imperfections,
Mm.
who were also brought up by imperfect parents. So you realize that they were also just trying to do the best that they could.
Yeah.
But at times, the best that they could also
Mm.
has the ability to harm you. And how do you sit with both? You
mm,
know, where they provided food, shelter, and clothing,
mm,
but they were emotionally not attuned or they were emotionally neglectful,
mm.
and that has impacted you,
You.
right?
Mm,
Maybe they didn't know how to resolve their own conflict and they used violence as a way to resolve conflict.
mm,
That has affected you.
mm,
So it's almost like, how do you sit with both? How
mm.
do you sit with both truths? It's
Yeah.
both and.
Mm,
It's not either or. It's both and.
yeah.
They did the best that they could, but
And
they and not but
mm,
and
it affected me
it
this way.
affected me this way.
Yeah.
So once you help yourself think that way,
Yeah.
then you give yourself permission
Mm,
then now to say, how do I now learn?
mm-hmm.
How do I then learn to do different?
Yeah.
How do I unlearn
Mm,
what I saw?
mm,
Because that is no longer serving me,
mm,
right?
mm,
And then so that then you give yourself permission to now be aware
mm.
and do something different about it.
Yeah.
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 Mm.
Yeah, and I think we do really need those grounding
Mm.
conversations because,
Mm.
again, of course, the algorithm now takes me to a lot of therapy, people poking at therapy, and there's so much.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, poor us.
Yeah.
People really poke at therapy the way we just sit and we're talking about our past and just blaming our parents and all, and people can get quite dismissive. So
Mm.
what you're saying is that let's acknowledge, let's see what it has done
Mhm.
and even what it's doing to us and how we are repeating the
The
patterns.
patterns,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, without the blame that there was something fundamentally wrong with
Wrong.
our parents, but they
Mhm.
did, and we always say they did what they could with whatever they had.
With whatever they had.
And
And can I tell you, because my own journey took me back to having difficult conversations with my mom.
yeah.
And I can tell you for sure, we are now thriving
Mm,
because she's also had to revisit her own past.
mm,
She's seen how she was parented. We've named patterns that we see now in her family
mm,
that she brought down to me. There was a lot of anxiety because being a single mom, you're
mm,
just trying to have your head above water.
mm,
And even for me, realizing she wasn't trying to be malicious,
mm,
she was trying to just put a roof over my head.
mm,
But because she didn't have support, then it came down to me as a child as,
mm,
she's trying to discipline me. She's not emotionally attuned or attentive,
mm.
and she's not available. But not because she didn't want to,
Yeah,
but because she didn't know how and she didn't have the bandwidth.
true.
We've sat down and talked about that. Me as the child who went through it,
Mm,
helping her see what was going on, but now for her as the adult, helping me see what was happening in her world.
mm,
And let me tell you, that has healed both of us because then I did not go to her attacking her or blaming her,
yeah.
but even just coming from a place of curiosity. For Mom, Ebu help me understand what was going on. Why didn't you want me to have friends? And she was able to tell me, do you know, as a single mother, your children are always looked at as those that then will spoil other
Mm,
children.
mm,
So you can imagine growing up thinking she made me not have friends and almost blaming her, to
right,
sitting from a place of curiosity and understanding her thought process.
right.
And now from one grown up to another, realizing she actually was trying to do the best for me.
Yeah,
That has healed both of us.
yeah. And I'm
That
just
has
wondering,
healed anxiety and has healed mine.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's such beauty to be able to have a conversation with your parent in that space. But I'm just wondering, those who may not be able to have conversations like that, I
Mm.
mean, healing doesn't happen. And what do we do? Because I've had all
Not
those conversations
really.
of people trying to talk to their parents and it just totally backfires on them.
And it will backfire on them.
Yeah.
That's why I keep trying to help. Even for my clients, I try to help them understand what kind of parent do
Mm,
you have?
mm,
Because not every kind of parent will be the kind that you can sit and talk with.
yeah.
Some of them are still so wounded
Mm,
that if you even try and help them see that maybe they did anything wrong,
mm,
you're about to get traumatized again.
yep.
So what you do is you learn for yourself,
Mm,
understand what happened for yourself, so that then you validate yourself. Because just because someone has not acknowledged or even apologized, it does not mean it didn't happen,
Yeah, that's
right?
powerful. Yes, yes.
Yes,
Mm,
just because there's no closure, it's not as beautiful as mine. But
mm,
just because it doesn't happen, it doesn't mean that you invalidate you.
mm,
And that's why we come from a place of awareness, because then you can, once you validate yourself,
mm,
then it doesn't matter what someone else says.
mm,
They can say, I didn't beat you, but you were beaten
mm.
or you were
Or I
abused.
beat you because you
Or
deserve
I beat
it.
you because
Yeah,
or you deserved it. Not necessarily.
yeah.
And that's why I talk about reparenting yourself.
Mm,
Because we can go back to be reparented by our parents,
mm,
but we have the ability now. And I keep saying, picture yourself as an 8-year-old,
mm,
picture yourself as an 11-year-old, and now as the adult,
mm.
give that child what she didn't get.
Yeah.
When you do that, it doesn't matter what your parent does or says,
Mm-hmm.
because then you're able to validate, affirm, you are able to be compassionate to that child so that then you are receiving healing, even without closure, even without an apology.
And I think that's a very important, it's a wonderful way to begin to land this conversation, that whatever
Mm.
it is we didn't receive, we can still give it to ourselves, because that's all. It's like now giving that infant or giving that 8-year-old the muscle to
Mm-hmm.
to take care of herself. But you're doing,
Mm.
it is still possible 30 years later, 40 years,
Yes, 40 years later, even
50
50,
years later, right?
you look back and you're just like, I keep saying, allow the 45-year-old now needs to help the 80-year-old
Yeah,
grow.
yeah.
Because the 45-year-old now knows something
It's so
that
much.
the 80-year-old didn't know.
Exactly.
And I even tell, even when you have children, I
Mm,
even say, hug your child.
mm,
But as you hug your child, picture yourself being hugged.
yeah.
I love the brain. It
Mm,
will help you think through it, and it will help you even come together and find yourself being hugged by
mm.
the person who should have hugged you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's nothing un-African about all this conversation, and there's nothing un-African about hugging yourself and hugging your child.
Mhm.
I think one of the things that I think for me, I would love for it to really come forth, and it's coming forth in a lot of conversations, is that we are more alike than we are different. The way
Yes.
the brain works, the way the nervous system works is the same, whether you are in south of Sahara or north of Limpopo or
Yes.
or in the Western world, as they call it, and all that. We are still the same, and we are
We are still the same.
similar. So as we
Yeah.
end this conversation, Tata, what would you like to tell someone who has been listening to this conversation and is like, I totally resonate with this attachment style or that attachment style, or just something? How would you like to land this conversation for the people who are listening?
Wow. I think mine is, first of all, to say thank you for listening,
Yeah.
and you're not doomed.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like most of us go straight into, oh, there's something wrong with me, or I am doomed, or look at me. Not necessarily. The beauty, and I will repeat it again, is that you can always unlearn. You can always unlearn what you learned as a child, and you can always reparent yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You can do better. You know how we say that the best time to have done something was maybe yesterday, but the other best time is today.
Yeah.
Now that you have had this information, you
Mhm.
can use it to propel yourself forward. And I keep saying, let us heal so that then we do not bleed on those that did not hurt us.
Yeah.
And this for me is key because we are now parenting the next generation. Let us heal so that then we do not have to bleed on them because they have done nothing wrong. And now that we know better,
Mm.
then we do better.
Do better.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tata. So much wisdom. And for those who are watching, we are going to share the resources in the resources as part of the summit resources. We're going to share Tata's contacts and all the amazing work that she does. She's on TikTok, she's on Facebook, she's on Instagram as well, sharing a lot of content just around trauma, relationships, and attachment. Thank you for having for being here today and sharing of your wisdom.
Thank you so much. And thank you for having me.
Yes, you're very.
All right.
And whoever is watching, as you're watching this, as you're listening to this, maybe this is one of those conversations where you will need to come back to. And so it will still be available for you to come back to because there's a lot that you need to sit with as we've had this conversation. Thank you, everyone, and see you in the next session of the Thriving Families Africa Summit.